I'm Paris Alleyne. I'm the illustrator on DC's Static Up All Night, and this is the True North Country Comics podcast.
Welcome to the True North Country Comics podcast, dedicated to promote Canadian comic book and graphic novel creators and supporters. I'm John Swinimer. On this episode, I chat with Paris Alleyne as he prepares to exhibit his art at Toronto Comicon 2025. Please like and subscribe to this website by hitting the subscribe button so you'll be notified about new podcast interviews and article posts. This podcast is available wherever podcasts are enjoyed. Please like, follow, and subscribe. Based in Toronto, Ontario, Paris Alleyne is an Eisner-award and Shuster-award winning illustrator. His work includes titles such as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, Black Panther, Spider-Man, G.I. Joe, Captain Canuck, and many more. His art has appeared in Black Comix Returns and his own independent Haven Comics. Paris is the illustrator of the graphic novel Static Up All Night with author Lamar Giles. Published in 2023, Static Up All Night was selected by Teaching Books in the category for Great Graphic Novels for Teens. Publisher DC Comics posted a blog about the book featuring the cover artwork, selection of pages from the graphic novel, plus critical comments including, "Alleyne's art is just as electric as Static's powers." So, without further ado, here's my chat with Paris Alleyne as he prepares to exhibit his art at Toronto Comicon 2025. So, Paris Alleyne, thank you very much for taking time to chat with me.
Always a pleasure.
I appreciate your time. Before I get going with all the questions, I would like to know, what are you reading today? What's on your bedside reading table?
I actually have to specify specifically because I have piles of books around my house.
It's a lot, eh?
Yeah, right now I have a few things on the go. I just finished up reading Don't Let Go, and it's a European book. I wish I could remember the team. But I'm also reading Time Waits with Chip Zdarsky and Marcus Toe. But I actually just started reading Amelia Strelchuk, her book, Be Yourself, Oh Not Like That. Yeah, and I think that's it.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, I was just chatting with Amelia about that book not too long ago, and she's got a Kickstarter book on the go too. So she's definitely keeping busy. But that's good. Yeah. Good stuff to read, that's for sure. Last time we met, and I know that it's been a while, but it was New York Comic Con last year, and that was a crazy event. I wanted to ask you, how was that for you? How did it turn out?
Oh, New York's always such a great show. I always have a lot of fun there. I find it's like really that point in the year where I guess I get to connect with some artists who I haven't gotten to see in a while. I guess writers and editors as well. Mostly, the artists I'm just going through, we're looking at each other's work, and it's kind of, sharing the different experiences that we've all been going through since the last time we saw each other, which was probably at the last big show.
I tell you, it was something else because you're there in the same row. Frank Miller's there, and there's some other folks. Mark Guggenheim was there, and Chip was there too. You're talking to, and so was Marcus Toe. So both of them were working on that book, Time Waits. I tell you, there's a lot of good quality folks there, and a lot of folks from Canada too. So you're in good company when you go to that show, for sure.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And I understand that the reason for our chat now is going to be at Toronto Comicon that's coming up in March. I want to ask you a little bit about what you'll have on your table for people to buy when they come by to see you.
Well, first off, Toronto, that show is one of my favorites. It really is a kickoff for the con season. But yeah, this year I will have, a series of books. I'll have a couple of my static books that I worked on a few years ago. I'll have some of my new Star Wars books that I worked on last year. I have some of the copies of the ODV, Old Dirty Bastard comic. So I have some of those. I have, for the first time in a very long time, I'm going to be showing up at the show with original art. Normally, I just do fully digital work, but I've been dabbling more with the traditional stuff now. So I have some of my more recent covers that I've done for Marvel and DC. So this is now, I guess, the new era for me, bringing my full portfolio, not just the prints, which of course I'll have, but also the work on paper for people can really see what it looks like before it's fully finished.
That's really cool. I mean, and that's a big switch, eh? Working digitally and all of a sudden going back to traditional. Did you find that was a challenge for you?
I think because fundamentally it's all the same thing. It wasn't too big of a curve getting back into it. I think the biggest thing actually was just trying to remember not to reach for the undo button or
Yeah,
just trying to double tap my page to go through any of it.
that's that. Yeah, for sure. That gets to be a habit after a while. So, what's your tool of choice? Are you doing like pencils, or are you doing paints? What are you up to?
It's actually been on escalating. It started off with just the tight lines, printing those out, and then inking them. Then it turned into looser work, and then penciling it, and then inking. And even right now, I have a cover that I am now penciled out, inked, and I'm also doing the ink wash on it, which is my
Wow,
first time doing ink wash in maybe 8 years.
wow,
So
that
it's a
sounds.
little nerve wracking.
I bet. But you're the pro, so you make it all work. That's for sure. Are you going to be doing commissions on the floor as well?
Oh, of course, yeah, every year.
That's cool. Now you mentioned a couple of books that we hadn't talked about, Star Wars and Old Dirty Bastard. Can you talk a little bit about that work? How that came to be.
Oh, the Star Wars book actually, it was that one was fun for me because I actually did a project with some friends of mine, just like a passion project to really show the type of things we like to draw. And then one of the editors gave it a read, and they really enjoyed it. And I actually didn't know, I don't know which of my friends they initially saw it through, but in the end, now they were able to find the artists they wanted to work with. So we worked together. It was actually a surprisingly quick process because a lot of times with all the licensors and everything, it can take a while. But this one was actually pretty quick, and it was great because I got to draw a lot of Star Wars races that I hadn't really known about, and there's also a lot of background details and characters where essentially they're just telling me whichever aliens you want to draw, toss them in. So I just had a lot. I got to have a lot of fun with that. And we had our lightsaber fights. We had all the lasers flying. It was it was great. I got to draw a little bit of everything, different planets, the different ships. It was a lot of fun.
That sounds like it for sure, for sure. Like getting the freedom to create your own aliens, that doesn't happen too often in Star Wars books, that's for sure.
Ah, yeah, no, definitely not. I'll say for that one, I didn't actually get to design any of my own, but it was I got to a lot of fun to try to experiment with the ones that they had designed, and I guess figuring out how to make some of the aliens as expressive as they can be, while still maintaining the fact that they look like aliens and not like humanoid.
Right. And the Old Dirty Bastard book, how did that come about?
Oh, that one, there was this editor, Chris Robinson. He and I, we worked together a few times over the years. And then when that opportunity came around, yeah, he reached out. And I jumped at the opportunity just being a really big hip hop fan historically. And then seeing afterward that there was so many other artists who I respected and really admired and I wanted to work with for years. Just having that opportunity, it just felt great to see my name next to their names.
I bet, yeah, that's a great achievement for sure. A personal achievement, yeah. So you got some projects there at the table that you'll be showing off to folks. Can you talk about what's coming down the road, or is that something that's still under wraps and you're not allowed to talk about it?
At the show, I will be able to talk about it, but currently, right now, I won't be able to. Mostly because it is when I say it's new, it is extremely new. This next thing that's coming,
Okay.
so I drop a little bit of hints at the actual show itself, show people a little bit of what we have, but then during the summer for Toronto Fan Expo, that'll probably be the first time I can really show it to people to see what I've been working on. It's maybe the most passionate I've been about a project in a long time. Finally have people I see what we're tooling away with.
That is cool. That's something to look forward to. So definitely if people want a sneak peek, they should drop by your table and see what's going on.
Oh, definitely, because I also have kind of a big mouth and I can't help but
Okay.
notice.
Okay, we'll say no more. We'll keep that under wraps and until the right time for sure. So we've been talking about Toronto Comicon. Do you have any other plans for shows for this year? Anything that's firmed up for the rest of the year for you?
The big ones for me are always going to be Fan Expo and New York Comic Con. Any smaller ones after that, I have a show in August, I think in like Wisconsin. I don't remember exactly what the show's called. I'm trying to talk with my art rep about some other shows. And I mean, I don't want to say them right now just because if I can't get into it, I don't want to seem like, I hyped it up. But yeah, no, I'm trying to do like more international shows. And I know like recently the Fan Expo in Vancouver that's passed. And I wanted to go to that one, but I just didn't know when it was, which is oftentimes the case for me. But so yeah, now that I'm working with a team of people, it's a lot easier to say that I can go to these shows, and it's not entirely on me to plan everything.
Right. Yeah. It can be a little bit of a juggling act to figure out when to do this, that, and the other thing and dot all the I's and cross the T's for these shows.
Yeah.
It can take a little bit of effort.
Doing flights, hotels, trying to figure out like what you can bring, what you can get like to like there ahead of time, what you bring with you on a flight, all that. When really what it comes down to is all you want to do is actually the work, which is the drawing. So all this seems like extra. So if you can fit it in, great. If you can't, then it's like, well, at least you're still doing the actual work.
Right. Exactly. Well, with all the projects that you can't talk about and all the events that will be coming out, where do you recommend that people go online to find out more about you?
I often tell people like, I'm on Blue Sky, I'm on Instagram. I'm most active on Instagram. So, there under my name, Paris Alleyne. I'm always happy. Like I talk with people a fair amount, mostly because, it's a quick distraction, a little break from work. But I also I oftentimes I like to indulge people when they have questions about, your tools, your process. I don't know, like where can they get a book, which oftentimes is just go to your local comic book shop. So yeah, Instagram, I'd say. Blue Sky, I'm trying to get more into it. I was never that big into Twitter, so now I'm trying to be more into Blue Sky, but it's a slow learning process.
All right. Well, Paris, those are all the questions I have for you, but I'm wondering, is there something I didn't ask that you'd like to get across in this interview?
I would say, I think especially for more Canadian shows, definitely be on the lookout because I feel like now it's going to be a lot easier for me to, I guess, see other places in this country. And obviously, I love going to other shows internationally, but I really would love to go to even more Canadian shows just to, I guess, support more of the community that is right here. And there's very exciting things coming up, and I definitely believe that that's going to be what the future looks like in the next short bit.
Thanks to Paris for the chat. You can discover more about Paris on Instagram at instagram.com/Paris Alleyne and on Blue Sky too. And thank you for tuning in to the True North Country Comics podcast. I invite you to visit the True North Country Comics website to listen to even more conversations and discover more about creators' insight on making comic books and graphic novels. I encourage you to subscribe via the website so you'll be notified about new podcast interviews and article posts. This podcast is available wherever podcasts are enjoyed. Please like, follow, and subscribe. You can follow along True North Country Comics on most social media sites, and you're encouraged to send any and all feedback to John at truenorthcountrycomics.com. Thanks for tuning in, and come back soon for another episode. Bye for now. True North Country Comics Podcast is copyright True North Country Comics, copyright 2025.